it's Vicki. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to resume tasting the states. And the state we drew 2 weeks ago was Arkansas. And that is where I was born and partially raised, off and on. But anyway, so that was, I was kind of waiting for that one to come up because when I think of Arkansas, I think of catfish and hush puppies. Now I know there are other things that are very, very Arkansas, biscuits and gravy, chicken and dumplings, and something that people eat in Arkansas that I don't know of people eating anywhere else, and that's chocolate gravy. But I'm going to go with, to me, what is the epitome of Arkansas, especially since I grew up around some catfish farmers, and that was the thing. If you were going to go out to eat, you went for fish. Everybody just call it fish. Fish meant catfish. If it was a different type of fish, then you said crappie or you said bass, but otherwise you said fish. So what do we start with? Okay, so I've got ingredients here to make fried catfish, fried hush puppies, and a dipping sauce. It's called, I don't remember the name of the dipping sauce. It's a Mississippi, and Arkansas is right next to Mississippi. And the fish is from Louisiana. But anyway, when I come across the name, I'll tell you the name of the sauce. I'll just put it down below. Oops. Okay, so let's just go over the ingredients. Okay, first off, I've got 4 fillets of catfish. They're big ones. This is heavy. And I have buttermilk. And that's how this recipe is going to start. I'm going to have to go soak this in the buttermilk for a while and then leave it and come back and start filming again after an hour or so. You could do it the night before in there, or you could do regular milk, or you could not do it at all. But the way I didn't cook much catfish when I lived in Arkansas because I was younger. I moved away when I was 19, and before that I lived in other places and came back to Arkansas. So what I'm saying is I wasn't old enough to really be doing a lot of this. I was in the kitchen when other people were cooking, although it kind of seems like it was cooking fish kind of became something that the men took over and cooked outside in a fryer. But anyway, so there's lots of ways to make it. You can certainly just put salt and pepper and then roll it in cornmeal and call it done. And lots of people make it that way and it's delicious. But I'm going to go all out. So anyway. So the other ingredients we're going to need is I have some eggs and I have a lemon for some fresh lemon juice. I have stone ground mustard for the sauce, Worcestershire for the sauce, garlic for the sauce, mayonnaise for the sauce, and ketchup for the sauce. Also olive oil for the sauce. Now for the hush puppies and catfish, I have salt and pepper, I have paprika, I have Old Bay. It calls to soak the fish in the buttermilk with hot sauce, but I'm not going to do that because we can't eat spicy foods, but I'm going to add a little Old Bay into that mixture instead. And then also on the dipping sauce, it's got sriracha. I don't think I have any sriracha anymore. I used to. So onion, celery salt, onion powder, garlic powder. I didn't have any fresh parsley. I forgot to get it, but I have some old, this kind. It's really for how it looks. Then I got a couple things of peanut oil. That's the best oil to cook catfish in. Then I got some yellow cornmeal. And then I got some cornmeal mix, which I think is just kind of like, I don't know if it's like Jiffy or something. I don't know. I just got it to give it a try. I thought I might use the use this for the hush puppies, because I think for the hush puppies, in the past, and I have made hush puppies a lot, and I think in the past I used yellow and the white cornmeal mixed together. I couldn't find any white cornmeal, but they've had this stuff, so I said, maybe I'll try that. And of course, a little bit of flour as well. So those are all the ingredients we're going to need. And I am going to go soak the fish, and then I'll get back to you when it's time to start cooking the hush puppies. Okay, well, something that came up that kind of took my time today, and so I'm running late. So anyway, and I was missing one ingredient for the other recipe that I liked for, you can see my little staging. I had to move it all out of the way. So professional, don't look at that. Anyway, So what I just went and found a different recipe for hush puppies, and this is what I'll be using. Salt, baking powder, onion. It has to have onion in it to me. This is Cajun seasoning, which is optional. It's only a quarter teaspoon. That should be fine. Some oil, sugar, buttermilk, and egg, cornmeal, and flour, all-purpose flour. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to assemble these ingredients and show you what we got. I use my fingernail as a spacer. It may not look like it. Yeah, I'm going to chop up just about, I don't know, maybe a third of that onion, I guess, into the tiniest pieces I can, because I like little bits of onion in hush puppies. Not all recipes call for it. I did not grow up with corn in hush puppies. One of the reasons I changed that recipe was because I didn't have it, but because, I don't know, it didn't sound traditional enough for me. Just a little bit about Arkansas and where I lived. I grew up in eastern Arkansas. Most of the time I lived in northeastern Arkansas, but the last couple of years I lived in southeast Arkansas, always by a river, and most of the time by the Mississippi. Town I was from, that I call my hometown, actually, is Osceola, Arkansas. I wasn't born there, but I never lived in the town where I was born. It was just a hospital, you know. When you live in a small rural towns and stuff, sometimes although Osceola had a hospital, but my parents hadn't quite moved there yet. They were closing on a house when I was born. Anyway, yeah, so I consider myself a Delta girl, and that's probably one of the reasons I went into Catfish. I know when we go to Arkansas, that's the first thing I want. We go to Dumas, first you want to go out to eat, you want to go to the steakhouse or whatever was going on, a burger joint, whatever was in business at the time. Nope, Catfish Kitchen. All right, so we got some onion to get us started. I got the oil heating on the stove. Let's put together the rest of this. Okay, so we are going to start with 1 cup of cornmeal. And I got the yellow cornmeal because that's what I'm accustomed to. Okay, it's spilling out just a little on the sides. Nope. So yeah, this is about perfect. And then 1/2 a cup of all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar, and I'm trying to make everything a level amount, you know, level off the top of it. 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, and I have this. Definitely want to make sure it's level, because when some recipes, they are just really exact, you know, especially with things like baking powder. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I believe, I might be wrong, but I think it's baking powder that doesn't work if you don't have salt with it. I might have that wrong, maybe that's baking soda, but I think it's baking powder. They're a team. And then I'm going to put in some, instead of cayenne pepper or something like that, I'm just going to put in some of this Cajun seasoning. This is kind of old. I have other ones, but they're really meant to go with fish or seafood. So I'm not going to put it in the hush puppies. Yeah, this is older, but I don't know if that means it's going to be stronger or less strong. But I don't want them to be too spicy. All right, so I'm going to mix these dry ingredients first. Okay, so we got these dry ingredients, and I'm just going to mix them together really well. Because once you make anything, like, to me, with buttermilk and cornmeal, you just don't overmix it once the liquid's together with it, because it kind of starts to rise a little bit, and you mess that up. So I'm just going to make sort of a well in the center, not a big well, but sort of. Okay, so I've beaten 1 egg. I didn't beat it too hard. You can still see little bits of, you know, clear where the white of the egg was. And then we're going to want some buttermilk. And we are going to want 3/4 cups of that. So I prefer to use, I don't have the 3/4 cup measure. My hubby stole it for his coffee thing. So as opposed to trying to do 3/4 of a cup, I think I measure better when I do a half and then half of the half. I also have a 1/4, but I'm measuring cup, but I'm not going to dirty another one. I believe in kitchen efficiency when I can. All right, and then I am going to put in the onion too. Now, I don't want any more than a half a cup of it, if even that, so I might have done just a little bit too much. Yeah, I don't know, maybe a 1/4 of a cup might be a better choice. Let's see how it looks. No, I can take a little more. Oh, no, half of it's still in here. Yeah, I don't want too much. Just a little sprinkling. See, now I want to wash my hands, but because I'm talking to you, I won't. But all right, I'm going to just stir this up till it's all mixed together. And then normally I would let it sit for like 5 minutes and heat up the oil. So as you can see, it's mixed, but it does have just a tiny bit of lumpies, not much. Just like cornbread. When you make cornbread, it always has a little bit of lumpies. So I'm going to go get some paper towels and stuff ready to be able to take Hush Puppies out of the frying oil. Okay, I have something slotted to remove them. And here goes. This has been heating up a bit, so we'll see. I'm using the spoon I mixed it with, and then another spoon just to grab a blob. See if that's going to work. Oh, they might be misshapen, but okay, that's a really misshapen. Yeah, I never said I was good at this. Like I said, I was a kid, so I don't have a lot of experience, but they look good in terms of frying, I think. What do you think? They only have to cook for like 2 or 3 minutes, so this is halfway through. Turn them over. Wow, they are burnt. Ooh, ouch, I just got that on my foot. Wow, that was fast. Okay, all these little pieces that are in there, they're gonna burn if I don't take them out. I'm gonna want that burnt taste on that. So these may be the ugliest Hush Puppies ever, but we'll see how they taste. That's what's more important, right? Okay, I'm gonna get these little pieces that are because I'm a messy cook. Okay, in fact, I might just taste one. Ouch, it might be too hot to taste. It tastes good to me. I'm trying to think what it tastes like. Is that not the ugliest Hush Puppy you've ever seen? I've never done a 2-spoon method, I don't think, dropping stuff into hot oil like that. These almost taste, they have a county fair taste, to be honest. If you know, ooh, this one got a little brown on the backside. Okay. All right. Oh, I know why. The spoon I'm using, this spoon was too flat. I needed a round spoon. So let me do this side to pick it up with the silver spoon, and then the flat spoon to bring it off. Oh, that didn't work really that well either. Well, the way I'm doing it, I'm not getting many out of this. Okay, I never said I was perfect, right? What you didn't see that I made off camera was some coleslaw for my husband. They say if your Hush Puppies fall apart while they're frying, then the heat wasn't hot enough, and that's not happening, so I guess we're okay with that. Sorry, onions, anytime I get a recipe with onions, you're gonna hear me sniffing. It just gets to my sinuses, and it's just gonna be there for a while. Does that happen to anybody else? That's why I usually have other people do peel onions for me, if I can. Peel and chop onions, and plus I got a whole 3/4 of one basically sitting there. Boy, this is a big old piece of lead weight. This is a big one, I think. I might be making these a little big, but they did fluff up a bit, you know. I didn't put in that much. It wasn't that much of the mix I put in there. It literally fluffed up that much. self-rising cornmeal, I think. Or, ouch. Maybe not. Anyway, here we go. With the last of this. So if you're feeding a large crowd, you would want to check how much it makes and if that's going to be enough. In the meantime, let's open one of these big guys from the first batch and just see if it's done. It is done. It's perfect. Oh, look at the steam. It's perfect. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Y'all, that is too good. Too good. It's done, but it's still very moist inside. With it being moist inside, that means if you're making these ahead, because it's hard to fry these and your fish at the same time, then if you wanted to make them ahead and then make your fish, and then you could put your hush puppies, I think, in an air fryer to get them back up to temperature without really worrying about, you know, them becoming overcooked as a result. Okay, I started accidentally cooking without y'all. All right, so I'm making, the fish has been in this batter and in the fridge for a while, and I made something for it to drain on when it comes out of the fryer and to sit on before it goes in the fryer. So I put in a couple teaspoons of salt. Now I'm putting in a little shy of 2 cups of flour, and I want, not flour, I'm sorry, cornmeal. Now I'm going to put in a little bit of flour. Let's see, what do I got here? I got a 1/3 cup measure. That might be a little too much. Let's take it down just a little bit, because I want it to be a cornmeal and not a flour. Some people just do flour or whatever. Not where I'm from, they don't, but some people. So I'm going to add some garlic powder. Here's all my spices. I moved them, didn't I? So let's add to this some garlic powder. Some onion powder. Let's add some celery salt. Oh, I don't have my light on. That's what's going on here. Oopsie. I took a little bit of a break and got to turn that on. Cayenne pepper. Yeah. I'm not going to do cayenne pepper. And black pepper, yes. And we can season the fish too. All right, so I'm gonna move the fish over, or the breading over. I'm gonna pull out the fish. Now it's been in buttermilk and Old Bay. So I've already messed up the wet hand, dry hand, and I am sticking it in here. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and just put a little more garlic powder on it before I turn it. And onion powder. I think those are the 2 main ones. And then I'm gonna make sure it's got a coating on it. It's not like a wet batter, you know, so you do have to help it along, pick it up and pour it on. This side, I'm just put a little bit more on here. Yeah, see, fold it in there. And if it folds, you might not get anything on the folded part. All right, that looks like a nice piece of fish. So I'm going to just lay this on here. And oh, I should probably turn this on, huh? What do you think? I should have cut these. That's what I should have done. It looks like they left some skin on here. Gross. Anyway, The downside of that, yeah, I should have cut these fillets in half. It's not too late. I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to get a pair of scissors and cut them. Or so I say. All right. Fish says, no, you're not. Yeah, I might have to put together just a little bit more batter. Or more coating. It's not a batter, it's a coating. I read that Arkansas is like the most affordable state. I want to use this thing. All right, so I think this is about hot enough, but I'm going to put this ugly piece in first, and we'll just see. Move you over here. I'm going to try not to drop you into the thing. Not hot enough. Okay, it's starting to cook it a nicer, ooh, it smells like catfish already. Wow. A little bit bigger piece here. Since they cook like 2 at a time. I think that really depends on the size of them now. I think it takes about 2 or 3 minutes per side. So I'm getting my phone to keep track of time here. It just had such a slow start. One of the things about catfish is I do know that it tends to fall apart, and I should have been a little bit hotter oil. I'm just going to turn the whole oil up a little. It should be about 350. I kind of got it on 375 now, because 350 just did not seem to be doing it. It smells like catfish though. It smells really good. If it's anywhere near as good as the Hush Puppies, I'm going to be happy. All right, I'll come back to you. You probably don't want to just watch it fry. I'll be back when it's done. Okay, got it. I took the first one, the ugly one, but look how pretty the later ones turned out. Yes, I had to show you those. All right, let's give it a taste. Now, I have never eaten Hush Puppies and catfish with a knife and fork. It's always been something I've eaten with my fingers. This is pretty big catfish. So I was unsure of the time. I just dipped it in Duke's tartar sauce, which, by the way, isn't my favorite. I don't even use their mayonnaise either. I've tried it, but I know a lot of Southerners like it. Now without, it's just as good without tartar. Oh, sorry for moving the camera. It's just as good without. This is really good. Really good. Yep. Hush Puppies lose just a little something after they cool off. I have to say they're not so good. But right out of that fryer, so good. All right, so I am going to finish my fish, and then I'll come back to you with some Arkansas facts, and we'll draw and see what the next state is. Okay, I'm back from that scrumptious meal. It sure cools down fast. You gotta eat it while it's hot, let me tell you. Okay, so facts about Arkansas. Okay, so the little town that I lived in as a young child, went to elementary, kindergarten, and went back to every summer once I'd moved away, was called Osceola, like Chief Osceola. Florida, they say Osceola, tomato, tomato. You know, I know people who say, well, the correct is Osceola. That's what the chief would have called himself, but the chief probably did not. He probably spoke where they speak Creek or something. I don't know. I can't remember. But anyway, he probably did not write English, so who knows? Anyway, Osceola is located directly on the Mississippi River, and the river forms its eastern border, and the state borders Tennessee. The river creates a border between Arkansas and Tennessee. Goes down, and then there's Memphis, and yeah. Anyway, it's leveed, and I remember as a child going to the levee in the summer. We take a big watermelon down there and eat watermelon, get all drippy, and then jump in the river. Or really not so much jump, walk, because there were boat ramps into it, and we just walked down the ramp. Cement ramps, that is. In that part, it serves as a vital shipping and transportation route for the community. There were big grain silo, and I remember big barges would come and load or unload. Yeah, it was definitely commercial. Some key details about it: it is in Mississippi County, which is northeast Arkansas. It was crucial to the founding as a steamboat stop for wood, cotton, and timber, and the settlement was originally called Plum Point. Did not know that. It has a Mississippi County Historical Center in a 1904 building that used to be a dry goods store. And it's famous, Osceola is famous for its role in the development of blues music, and many famous blues musicians either came from Osceola or performed there. If you're ever in Osceola, Arkansas, they have a lot of those memorial, I don't know what you call them, anyway, signs that are like cast bronze or whatever about different musicians that were from there. It's very interesting. Highway 69 is also considered the blues highway, and Osceola has seen some of the best singers and songwriters there who got their start, like Son Seals and Billy Riley. Billy Riley was my uncle's cousin. Kimmons Wilson of Holiday Inn fame was born in Osceola. Dale Evans, who is the wife of Roy Rogers, was raised in Osceola, and I did know about her, actually. Arkansas is home to the only public diamond mine, and I've been to it. It's called Crater of Diamonds, and it's a state park, and you pay, well, at the time it was $5 or $6, and they gave you, I think, a little spade in a bucket, maybe. I can't remember, but anyway, you could go in there and just dig all day looking for diamonds, and people find diamonds every day, and then every once in a while somebody finds something sizable. But there are other gemstones and minerals that they pull out of there as well. It's kind of a fun thing to do, and they have the front set up a little bit like a miniature water park, with some slides and stuff that have water running down them. So it's definitely like a campground. The racial makeup of Osceola, I'll go on more to Arkansas in a minute, but I just wanted to talk about Osceola a little bit. The racial makeup of the city was 53.9% black, 41.9% white, 0.1% Native American, 0.2% Asian, 0.1% from some other race, and 1.3% or two or more races. Arkansas is called the natural state due to its mountains, lakes, forests, and rivers alongside hot springs. There's Hot Springs National Park, and of course, I mentioned the Crater of Diamond State Park. It's also known for Walmart's founding and headquarters. I think everybody knows that. Its status as the #1 chicken and rice producer in the country, the Razorback sports team. It has distinct foods like cheese dip and tamales, and the historic Civil Rights Museum. Hot Springs National Park, I've been there, I've been to Hot Springs, and they have those, people used to come, I don't know, maybe in the 20s or something, for healing waters and that sort of thing. But it has 47 natural springs and historic bathhouses. There's Bathhouse Row. Arkansas is particularly passionate about its signature cheese dip, it says, which is Rotel, I believe. Tamales, that's another iconic regional food with its own distinct style in Arkansas. It's known for its rich history, including the Civil Rights Movement and the historic Central High School. It has a deep musical heritage, especially in blues, country, and folk. It has the Clinton Presidential Center, a landmark in Little Rock. It's a big duck hunting place. People come from all over. Like when I lived in southeast Arkansas in Dumas, there is a nearby town called Stuttgart, and it's like has the world championship duck calling contests, and it's duck hunting is a big deal there. And then there was the Little Rock Nine, which is 1957. Sorry, dog has got my attention. Following a court order to desegregate schools, 9 black students enrolled at Central High School in Little Rock, and followed what came nationally and even internationally it was the civil rights movement, basically, because they were initially banned from entering the school by a mob. And that happened in Arkansas. So what is it? It is named the top state for affordability by U.S. News and World Report. And some of the famous people who come from there, I'll name the ones that I know who they are. There's more in here that I don't know them really. So Mary Steenburgen, the actress, Scottie Pippen, the athlete, Johnny Cash. Now, Johnny Cash wasn't born there, but he was raised there, and I've been to his childhood home in Dice. John Grisham, the author, I've been to a house he lived in there. Douglas MacArthur, y'all know who he is. Billy Bob Thornton, the actor. Bill Clinton, of course. Maya Angelou, I think she lived there as a child. Glenn Campbell. Al Green, one of my favorites. Bear Bryant. Sonny Liston. And those are the main ones that I know of. Arkansas is famous for Southern comfort foods, and yes, it is. Everybody cooks well there, including its own creations like the cheese dip and fried pickles, alongside regional staples, such as fried catfish, barbecue. All of Northeast Arkansas is big into barbecue and the Memphis influence. Delta tamales, possum pie, which isn't what it sounds like. It is not made of a possum. It's chocolate and pecans. Iconic breakfast item called chocolate gravy. I think I talked about that when we were in the kitchen. It's also known for abundant fresh produce, with the South Arkansas vine ripe pink tomatoes being the official state fruit and vegetable. When I lived in Southeast Arkansas, we had catfish farms, and during the off season, or after they harvested the fish, there was always a lot of crawdads left, and then they got popular. And so that was like a second crop they didn't even plant, kind of. And there was always a crawdad festival south of us in another little town called Dermont. So that's what I know about Arkansas. So let's see who is next week. Not going very far, Missouri, just one state north. All right, see you next week in Missouri. In Arkansas, they don't say Missouri, they say Missouri.